Minister, this question regards our competitiveness, which is a mixed bag. If you look at Ireland's competitiveness index relative to ourselves in terms of factor input costs and so forth, we've done significantly better since the start of the recession, with factor input costs coming down. But very worryingly, if you compare us globally, every year we're doing worse and worse. So the World Economic Forum has us at 27th this year, down from 22nd in 2007. So whilst we are getting more competitive relative to ourselves, we're becoming rapidly less competitive relative to other countries. And I wanted to get the Minister's view as to what's being done about that. Are there any targets? Is he satisfied with where we're at and the trajectory we're on right now?
Thank you, Deputy Minister. Number 3.
Yeah, I think it is well catalogued that Ireland lost competitiveness in the years between 2000 and 2010. There was very considerable loss of competitiveness, but since 2011, Ireland's international competitiveness rankings have improved in the IMD World Competitiveness Report from 24th to 15th, and from 29th to 25th in the World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness. This is the 3rd consecutive year that our position has improved in these rankings, in contrast with the period of declining competitiveness which was experienced in the years up to 2011. According to the WEF, Ireland ranks ahead of other advanced countries in categories such as institutions, labour market efficiency, the goods market category. Ireland's scores are weakest in the macroeconomic environment category, which is driven by government debt and borrowing. These weaknesses are being addressed through government macroeconomic policies and the ongoing focus on improving the performance of financial institutions. At the report launched, the WEF noted that Ireland's ranking is improving due to structural reforms underway. Many of these messages were echoed in the recent annual EU Member States Competitiveness Report, with Ireland named as one of only 4 Member States with high and improving competitiveness. Competitiveness has been a key theme in the Action Plan for Jobs since its inception. The APJ has developed initiatives right across the spectrum to improve competitiveness. These include reforms to make wage-setting mechanisms more adaptable, measures to improve access to finance, measures to make it easier to establish, operate and expand a business, measures to deliver a supply of competitive skills to growing sectors, and measures to reduce business costs and enhance the ease of doing business. The National Competitiveness Council has been reconstituted with the addition of the new industry partners, and recognising that competitiveness is a national economic priority, we've put in place a process under which the Cabinet Committee on Economic Recovery and Jobs considers a report on competitiveness on a quarterly basis. This has placed an enhanced focus on practical changes which can be implemented to improve our national competitiveness. As in all previous years, measures to enhance our competitiveness will be a core element of the Action Plan for Jobs in 2015.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Donnelly.
I'd like to thank the Minister for his reply, and I accept that the figures from the National Competitiveness Council differ slightly from what the Minister is saying in terms of our global rankings. They don't show that we're really moving at all. The Forfus report shows we were at about 21st at the start of the crisis, and we're now at 28th. So during the crisis, our competitiveness ranking fell. Now, I accept the Minister's point that part of this is driven by the macroeconomic instability. But even if you look at the microeconomic drivers as well, Minister, what you see, for example, is a very worrying decline in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business rankings, which are entirely on the micro side, around red tape, regulation, and so forth. And there, from memory, I think we were ranked about 7th or 8th in the world in about 2007, and I think we're at about 15th in the world now. So we're sliding down both on the macro and the micro competitiveness rankings. And I accept that there are real things the Minister has done. So can I ask, is he happy with the trajectory? Is there more that he thinks needs to be done? And are there any big ideas and big policies which he hasn't referred to, which haven't come in yet, which the Minister believes might be implemented within the next year and a half?
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think it is definitely true that we've improved in the competitive rankings in the past 3 or 4 years. But if you choose to take a period before the crisis to now, clearly things have changed. Our public finances have changed. A lot of things have changed. But in areas we have really tangible progress. Unit wage costs have improved relative to our competitors by about 20%. 20%. The property values costs have improved very dramatically. So right across a spectrum we have improved, but there are always areas to improve. And you're right to draw attention to the ease of starting a business, and we are giving specific focus to that because there are areas where we should be doing better. We're down, as you rightly say, at 115th for dealing with construction permits, 100th for getting electricity connections. So there are areas where we believe, partly I think there may be some inaccurate reporting of the actual ease of getting some of these services, but also there's messages that we need to improve, and we have put in place teams to look specifically at some of the areas where we are out on the wrong end of the spectrum, and we're taking steps to deal with those.
Thank you, Minister.
But we have some very good ones too. I mean, the revenue come out very high in the list. I'm glad to say, the company registration office has reduced the time in half to establish a company. So we are making progress, and we will be focusing specifically on all of those areas that affect a startup.
Margaret Deputy Stephen Donnelly.
Thank you, Minister. One of the areas that I think I would like to see, and I have to say I haven't checked to see whether or not it's in the budget, but is the Competition Authority. It is underfunded. There is cartel behaviour, as we all know, in some sectors. I won't go into the allegations here, but we're all aware of various ones. The legal sector, for example, it was the Troika who showed us professional fees coming down and down and down, with one divergent line going up and up and up during the recession, which was legal fees. But Minister, there seems to me to be a great opportunity to create a robust competition authority. We've heard from previous heads of the Competition Authority who've left and then spoken more freely when they'd left, that they felt hopelessly under-resourced in order to do the job that needed to be done. And I wonder, is that something you might tell us? Has there been more funding provided to the Competition Authority in the budget? And if not, is that something that you would be making a case for in the future? Thank you.
I'm glad to tell you that last year we got sanctioned to strengthen the Competition Authority, and they're taking on new enforcement staff and new resources. I think it's 10 effective new resources. We've also strengthened this year the ODCE. So in the two areas, if you like, of corporate performance, making sure that the markets work well, we've strengthened both of those agencies in sympathy with the concerns that the Deputy is expressing.